Hey everyone, it's Michael Goosebumps fan. First and foremost, I want you to know if I move around in this video at all, it's the couch squeaking. Listen to this. This thing was never this crickety, until I guess, got more use out of it. I've been sitting on this thing like every day of my life for a year since I moved into this house. Anyway, Goosebumps. I have another book review for you. Yeah, I had a lot of free time yesterday, like I said in my previous review. For The Beast from the East, I talked about how had some free time, really read a lot of books yesterday, or a lot of work into some books. And man, this is one that I read that really, I've heard a lot about this one. It really surprised me. It's one that I've never read. I've never seen the episode adaptation, but I kind of knew the basis because of people like GoosebumpsFan here on YouTube. And I think I watched his spoiler review a couple of times back in the day. Anyway, this book is one of the earliest Goosebumps books from the classic era of Goosebumps. It's Goosebumps number 8, The Girl Who Cried Monster. Really neat little cover. I really like the color scheme to it, this kind of purplish lavender kind of thing. And we have this fella right here with his little turtle tank and some bugs. Anyway, this is one that people have constantly asked me why I haven't read yet. And again, I've never read this one. Never watched the episode adaptation either from the old 90s TV show. I've heard a lot about it. I kept putting it off and hoping that it would be a really good one. And man, was it. It was such a good read, dude. It had such just a dark tone to it. It was fun. It kind of had this tension throughout it. This, I don't know. I just really liked it. There was a lot to it that really worked for me. Of course, the title, The Girl Who Cried Monster, is a play on the title of that old story called The Boy Who Cried Wolf. And it's kind of about putting out fake signals that when something real happens, people don't believe you because of the kind of lies you've told over and over and over again. This is a book that should be read by everybody nowadays, frankly. As is the Boy Who Cried Wolf story. I think people in their 20s need to reread that one. There's a lot of crying wolf nowadays, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so what is this book about? We have a young girl who loves monsters. She loves to scare her younger brother with stories about monsters and ghost stories and different things like that. And she constantly talks about these things. Her parents are fed up with it. Her younger brother's scared to death of her because of that. Her friends are irritated with her, but they also love her. But her obsession with monsters has really kind of harmed her day-to-day life. And it's not that she's scared of them. She just makes up stories about them all the time, claims she sees them all the time. She could go brush her teeth and claim that she saw monsters between the bristles that got in between her teeth, on her toothbrush. So she's a little bit of an obnoxious character at times. However, I really like the directions the story goes here. Over time I got used to her. But at one point, and by the way, she goes to this thing, it's called like the Reading Rangers or something. She goes and reads books, and then she goes by this, kind of like, it's not like a regular library, like a publicly funded library. It's like a small, independent business type of thing ran by this fellow named Mr. Mortman, who is an odd fella, a very odd fella. So she goes in here one day, and she happens to be upstairs, and she notices something odd that Mr. Mortman didn't know she was in the building. And she notices him eating handfuls of bugs that he usually feeds to his pet turtles, that he keeps in a very small little tank. He's a very disgusting man. He's very gross. He always has like wet, slimy hands and that kind of thing. We assume it's because of the pet turtles and always having to, handle them and take care of them and whatever. But she notices something horrific when she sees him eating bugs. Now, she starts to suspect that he might be some kind of monster. This book doesn't amaze me. It's not one of the best things I've ever read in my life. It is very, very good. A very eerie, gross book. A very horrific book. There's some stuff in here that I'm actually kind of surprised that I saw in a Goosebumps book. Really, I mean that. It was such a fun read. It surprised the hell out of me, honestly. I can't believe that people don't talk about this one more. I know it's typical for the older Goosebumps fans to talk about this, but you have to remember, this one doesn't have a reprint. This one is one that younger readers are not going to know about unless their parents know about it, or buy it for them at like a random garage sale or something. This is one that a lot of younger folks in the community don't know anything about, and it's kind of a shame, man. It's a really good one. It's a dark one. It's not like a comedy-focused one like a lot of these. However, it kind of feels a little meandering. It doesn't really feel like there's a plot, and I don't really care about that. It's kind of your Lost Boys type of story. Not as good as Lost Boys, but it's kind of one of those types of things where you have kids suspecting something about somebody else in the town, that summer of '84 type of syndrome. And it's kind of meandering, like I said, but for the way the book goes about its events, it flies by. It's one of the longer ones, too. It's one of the ones like Not a Living Dummy that are like 140 pages long. It was really solid. If you haven't read Girl Who Cried Monster, you really need to. It's a really solid one. I love the cover. I love the color scheme of the cover. I love the book itself. It's just a really solid read, man. It brought surprise after surprise. The kind of things that happened here, again, they were horrific. For example, my mom has pet turtles. So you can imagine how I reacted to a couple of things in this book. It shocked me. Flat out shocked me. Anyway, I don't really have much more to say about this. It's a great read. I highly recommend it if you haven't read this book before. It's one to look out for. I wish I could get a better one that didn't have tape down the side, Mine came in like this, damaged, when I got it in the mail from thrift books back in the day. Anyway, The Girl Who Cried Monster. Have you read it? What did you think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Put your thoughts and comments down below, folks. I would love to hear what you have to say about this one. Once again, do I recommend it? Absolutely. If you love the scarier Goosebumps books, this is a really good one. It's really going to get to you, I think. And it's going to bother you. There's some things in here that will get under your skin. If I had to rate this one on a 5-star basis, it's easily going to be a 4 out of 5 stars. It's a dark one. It's so good. The ending is satisfying. For the most part, it's a little goofy, but I kind of like the twist at the end. It's very much similar to one that I do not like from Welcome to Camp Nightmare. So I kind of feel like a hypocrite, but I kind of don't. I just enjoyed it. I think it worked really well for this book, but I don't know. What do you think about it? Put your thoughts and comments down below once again. Thank you for watching, guys. Again, yesterday was Easter, so I hope you had a happy Easter this weekend. And I will get around to reviewing the TV episode in the next couple of days, hopefully tomorrow. It's going to be a busy day. It's raining and stuff. I need to get some cleaning done. I was busy last week, couldn't do it. As much as it doesn't really need it, but it needed it, in my opinion, in the back of my brain. I'm getting old man brain where I want to clean things. Anyway, what are your thoughts on The Girl Who Cried Monster? Thank you for watching. God bless you guys, and goodbye.